Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Black Expat Experience, a podcast highlighting the lived experiences of Black expats around the world. I am Kendall Tyson, your host, licensed therapist, and a fellow Black expat. Today, we have round two of another great episode in store for you today. I would love for you all to welcome my newest guest and my friend, Stephon, to the show. Hey, Stephon.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
Again, right? Like, oh my goodness. So you all just, disclosure, we tried to do this yesterday, and honestly, the conversation was really good. But the Wi-Fi gods in Beijing were not cooperative. So this is take two, which I have a feeling is going to be even better than yesterday. So we'll get into it. Just to give you a little brief on Stephon, he's been in China, right? China for a little over a year. He's a stunt performer currently, born and raised in Washington, D.C., and Waldorf, Maryland. Okay, so obviously they're different, but I'm imagining that they're close, right? That's the DMV, right?
Yes, they're close. I live like 20 minutes from D.C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's currently working as a professional stunt performer for film and live theatrical shows. And right now he is in, let me try to do it again. Hopefully I can get it correct. Qinghuangdao China, working as a precision driver. And y'all, he is all the things when it comes to Kung Fu. So again, Stephon, I want to welcome you for the second time to the Black Expat Experience. I'm so grateful that you took out, a little bit of time in your day to kind of share your story with us, give us some inspiration, help us to see the global aspect of Black people being excellent everywhere. And so as we get into our little discussion today, I kind of want to start off by you giving us some background on how would you describe yourself? If you're doing your intro to the world, a new segment of the world, tell us who you are in your own words.
My own words. Ooh, that's tough. Stephon from DC, East Coast, represent. Professional stunt performer, professional martial artist. I have done martial arts since I was 5. I've coached, I've competed, I've performed all around the world. Myself, my personality, I'm very loving. I'm very fun to be around. Sometimes I can be a little, introverted. I like my space. I like my alone time sometimes. But when I'm in a group, when I'm in a crowd, oh, we having fun.
Listen, I can attest to that. We've hung out, plenty of times in Beijing, and I can say that you are very kind, you are loving, you are, open, you are honest, and I really enjoy having, been able to hang out with you the times that I have. And you're supportive, like you supported some other initiatives of mine, and I'm so, grateful for your support. So, so you said one of the things I'm always intrigued about is that we do a lot of things in a lot of different arenas, right? And so as a Black man doing, okay, you told me before, martial arts is kind of like the umbrella term for the skills that you learn, and that you've been doing Kung Fu, right, since the age of 5.
Yes.
Okay. Can you share with us kind of like your inception story into how you got into Kung Fu and how you became so passionate and skilled in your craft?
Oh, yeah. So I started when I was 5. I was inspired by Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, like, most kids.
Yeah, I'm a fellow.
But mostly I started doing it because I wanted to learn how to defend myself. My father was a champion wrestler in high school. So of course he taught me and started doing martial arts to learn how to defend myself, but also to try to calm down my anger
Mm.
I used to get into a lot of fights and stuff, and kind of started enjoying it. You know, it's just a way of life. Me and my twin brother, we would fight all the time. So martial arts helped me, you know, become the man who I am today. You know, be patient, you know, be loving, be empathetic. But how I became so good at martial arts, I loved it. I mean, you go in with a big community of people, we're all trying to get better. We're all from different walks of life, we're different religion, different races. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We all come together, we punching, we're kicking, we're screaming, we're making jokes. It's amazing. But when I turned 14, I moved to Waldorf, Maryland, where I met my coach, Josh Elkins. And he was a national martial arts champion, just known all out America. So I saw his skill level and I said, yeah, you got some competition. So from then on,
young grasshopper.
Yeah. From then on, I'm just training with him. You know, I'm getting better along with other friends in the same school. And yeah, I just enjoy it. Meditation while moving.
Oh, I really like that. Meditation while moving. I need to write that down. I'm probably going to use that in the show notes. Meditation while moving. Can you expound upon that? That is a very pregnant statement. Meditation while moving.
Yeah. You know, you see how people like, you know, like dancers and stuff, they just put on music and they just move. You know, doesn't matter if they're happy, they're sad, you know, they just start moving and the world just stops and everything's better.
Wow.
That's me. Wow. I could punch a bag for an hour, you know, just music or complete silence. And I'm enjoying myself. I can do some flips, some kicks, like play with like weapons and stuff. And it's just so nice. Although it looks violent. Yes.
The layperson is like, what are you over there doing? And you just zenned out.
I look mad. I got a mad face, but in the back of my head, I am just smiling.
Wow. Wow. I really like that. Like, you know, so some of the things that I hear that you're sharing is being able to grow your skill set and go deeper into the craft of Kung Fu, you know, martial arts has really helped you to, one, learn how to cope in a healthy way with the overwhelming emotions that, you know, growing up, a lot of us experienced or that you shared, you know, that you felt, I would imagine as a teen, a burgeoning young man, building empathy, building relationships and connection. And I would imagine just really having a healthy sense of who you are, and like your strength and your power, and knowing that you can be in control of how you know, what energy you put into the world, how you choose to respond to situations and things like that. I really get the sense that you've gained a greater sense of self-awareness. That's really what I hear. Like the umbrella term I'm trying to say is a heightened sense of self-awareness.
Yes. Yes, most definitely.
I wonder, you know, how has that helped you traveling? Because I know before you shared that Beijing or China is not your first international work experience. Can you kind of give us a timeline of where your skills are taking you?
Oh, yeah. So, of course, I'm from America. So I started doing stunt work in America. But then I got a call for a national tour. It was called Nuclear Cowboys. I was a parkour acrobat, stunt guy in it. But a year after that, I got a call to go to Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah.
Now, I've never heard of Jakarta. I know of Indonesia just a little bit.
Yeah.
But woo, that was my first international job. And I loved it.
Oh, wow.
I was there for probably about 6 months. I had to
Mhm.
stay a month later because my role was pretty difficult and scary
Mhm.
because we're supposed to be there to train, to open the show and train the locals to do it. But my role was pretty scary.
Mhm.
But I stayed and I loved it. And my training, not just the physical, but like the empathy, just getting to know everybody. Because I couldn't speak the language, but they understand the movement, they understand my passion,
Yeah.
and my passion just went on to them. So we just clicked, and I made so many friends over there.
I just
Some
hear
came
that.
to
I hear the happiness. I hear the nostalgia as you describe your first international experience in Jakarta. Yeah.
it's great. Everyone's smiling, everyone's very inviting, very warm. And I'm new to being overseas, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mixed bag for sure. It's especially depending on where you go. So now you're in China, and I know that you've gone a few other places throughout the world. I wonder how would you compare your first experience in Jakarta to your current experience in Qinghuangdao?
There you go, you got it.
It's over here.
Well, yeah, Jakarta, everyone's, they're darker skin.
Mhm.
So I don't stand out
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
In China, right now, I'm living in a village called Chengli,
Uh-huh.
and it's great. It's quiet. They don't see a lot of foreigners here,
Yeah.
like at all. Like I'm working in a show, and there's a few foreigners here. That's all the foreigners that they see.
Wow.
So, every time you walk out, people just stare. And I've been here for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I'm here, but people just stop. People driving will just, start creeping, you know, slow down, put their phones out the window, try to film you.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a lot to get used
Sometimes
to.
people here can be mean.
Yeah. If you are a Black person living in any part of China, right, even the most cosmopolitan parts of China, we've all had this particular experience that you're describing, feeling really on display.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to get you. Well, I know for myself personally, when I moved here, it was a lot to get used to, feeling like a spectacle, and sometimes it's still really irritating. But then it's realizing sometimes it is about racism, especially if we're like in Beijing and it's happening, or more of the global cities. But I wonder, what would you say it's attributed to, being that you're in a smaller village, they have very limited interaction with foreigners, and then you're a Black man doing the work that you do. So you are very much an anomaly in the environment that you're in right now. What would you attribute it to?
Huh. I would say for all the locals here, they watch TV, but they only see us like doing bad guy roles and stuff like that. Look like we're not smart or something like that. And I bring it upon myself to educate them, either verbally or with my actions,
Yeah.
by saying, uh, Black excellence, you know, we're good at what we do, you know.
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
listen.
Because in the show, that's why I like doing stunt shows in other countries,
Yeah.
especially in China. There's not a lot of Black people doing my job.
Mm.
So once I get out, they look at me and say, oh, cool, Black guy. What can he do? And they're just blown away. I shove my dedication, my love, my talents, down their throats in a fun, loving way.
I love
It's
it.
like in the show, I'm driving and
Right.
no one expects a black guy to drive. So I'm just driving, doing my patterns. I get out the car and the crowd be like, oh, 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 where did that come from?
Right.
I'm like, yeah.
Surprise.
Then the next scene, I'm acting. They're like, dang, he can act too? Yep. Then I'm in the audience, have to do a fight. And they're like, dang, he can fight too. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Because, people think, they have like a negative, perception of black people. And it's dumb. And a lot of people that I've met, the Chinese, that are now, I would call my friends, they look at other Chinese and they're like, dude, they're human just like us.
Yeah.
They work hard.
Yeah.
This is a job. They do it perfectly.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and then when you even consider the level of experience and expertise you have to even be considered for the role, and then to go internationally and do the work that you're doing, you can't be mediocre. Like, that's just not in our DNA. It just doesn't comport, right? And
Yes.
what I'm wondering is, has the word or the phrase "you're intimidating" ever come up in your professional work, especially, as you went abroad?
Yep. all the time, which is crazy. You know me, I'm nice.
Yeah.
But when someone doesn't know something, I'll show them how to do it. It's like I was working in Beijing, and we have some contraptions and stuff that these Chinese crew members didn't really understand because they didn't build it, they haven't been around it.
Yeah.
And I would be there, just say, hey, do it like this, do it like that. And they were just like, why do you know this? Like, what are you doing? You trying to take out jobs? I'm like, no. Like, then they try to argue with me about that's not true, that's not how it works. But I'm experienced.
Yeah.
So I can explain it and I can demonstrate it many, many ways. And I got a few meetings because of it. My boss was like, hey, just relax on that, because they're kind of intimidated that you, of all people, know how to do stuff like that.
That's unfortunate.
But once again, I shove my knowledge down their throats with love.
Yeah, that empathetic choking is what you're gonna get with all of this Black excellence in this profession. So this is June, and June is ending, and in the States, June is Men's Health Awareness Month. And the work that I do, it's not just physical health, it's definitely in alignment with mental health. I want to know, as a professional stunt performer, as someone that is a professional in the martial arts field, what are some suggestions that you can give for Black men, expats, or stateside to really prioritize taking care of themselves physically and mentally?
Well, physically, I would say do an activity. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't have to be something that's so strenuous. Like, I weightlift every single day because I like to be healthy. Yeah. Also because I'm bored. It's not a lot to do here.
Right.
But do an activity that teaches you something. Like, I love to say, my fellow Black people back in the States, do martial arts. There's a big, giant Black martial arts community all around America.
Really?
And you'll get in shape while learning new skills that you can take somewhere else. And also you're getting that meditation through movement. The mental health, that's pretty tough. Even here in China, people's mental health it's a challenge, but me, I like to just find something that's relaxing. I read a book a week. I'm kind of running out of books because I read too fast.
Okay.
I like to play video games because that's just my way of just relaxing. The day's over. I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about the craziness. Eating healthy, but if I was in America, I'd be eating a cheeseburger right now.
But you burning it off at work.
Yeah. So I'll be eating 3.
Okay.
But,
Listen, if y'all are not doing martial arts every day, don't sit there eating 3 cheeseburgers, okay?
Yeah, very true. But find some cool people to be around. Some friends that they're not drama filled. We can just go out somewhere, and just kick it, just drink, laugh, go to karaoke and stuff. That's what I would say to do for their mental health. But you got to get up. You got to get up and and do something. You can't just stay in the house.
Yeah.
For me personally, I was a little depressed doing COVID lockdowns in America.
Okay.
It was pretty tough, not because I'm locked down. I was doing movies and stuff in New York, and New York became crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
So now the fear of going there and infecting my family and stuff, but also seeing my family, my brother, my father, they all have jobs they can do from home. I cannot.
Yeah.
So I was down for a while, but then my grandmother just said, hey, get up and do something.
Yeah.
Walk around, call your friends, stay 6 feet away. Boom, mental health just got better and better.
Yeah. Okay, Granny. Thank you, Granny.
Thanks, Grandma.
Listen, and that's the thing. When dealing with depression, I mean, and I really, with all the expats that I've spoken with, myself included, it's a transition. It's a huge transition and adjustment when coming overseas, being brave enough to move overseas alone, kind of relearning how to live your life for yourself and connect with others. And so some of the things that you're sharing, seeking connection, finding your passions, building community, and most important, being active are some of the basic things that as expats we can do whenever that heaviness or when that fog or that depression and anxiety hits. The worst thing you could do is get stuck there, right? And as a community of people, I can see how it would be easy to really get stuck in depression, overwhelmed with anxiety, because our history isn't rich with naming what I'm feeling, naming I have depression, or I'm dealing with anxiety, or I'm having suicidal ideation. So I kind of want to shift into a natural segue into kind of like the mental health portion of it, because, the Black expat experience is really about highlighting our lived experiences with a heavy emphasis on mental health, because these are not conversations that we often have as a community. And this platform is to help break stigma, show the world that we can thrive, have mental wellness, thrive in our lives all over the globe as we excel. So I'd like to know, I'm interested in, can you recall, have you ever really had conversations when you were younger with your family when it dealt, with mental health? Do you recall any distinct conversations about maybe I'm anxious or depressed or something like that?
Yeah, it was with my mom and father would talk to me about it, which is great. But it was my grandmother. My grandmother she knows how to just get right to the point.
Yeah.
But like I said, in school, I was in a bad neighborhood. always in fights. So my grandmother will always say, you know, I do understand what you're going through, you know, but you can't let that destroy who you are. Because, you
Wow.
know, as a kid, I was fun, I'm loving. I wasn't trying to be a thug and stuff like that. And I was always taught that if you stand up to like bullies, basically beat them up, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Nah. See, that's the thing. That's the thing in America. Some people, you know, think thugs. Sometimes people do that to try to bring you down. That way, you're so down, you'll join whatever community again. So me and my brother were getting to that point.
Wow.
But my grandma said, you know, it's okay to talk about your feelings. You don't have to bottle it up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, you know, like, men, we bottle it up and stuff like that, you know. But as a child, I didn't understand that I was doing that.
Yeah.
So my grandmother was the component to putting me to the path of where I am now.
Wow. I just feel, I don't even know what I feel, but I feel it. I feel like this warmth, you know, as you speak about your grandmother, how she gave you a safe space to just be, to soften, really to give life to your experience and give you a place to be able to offload that. Because what you said is very true. A lot of Black men, other men of color, culturally, and I'm saying this obviously on the outside looking in and as a clinician, culturally it's not accepted, or it hasn't been in the past accepted for you all to emote, cry, show emotions outside of anger. And you know, anger technically is what we call like a secondary emotion. It's the smoke screen, the one that hides all of the actual feelings, or the more intense feelings that society has said, as a man, you can't show that, right? The vulnerability, the embarrassment, the fear, the shame, the guilt, the things that you feel, but maybe there's not a healthy outlet for that. So I've never met your grandmother, but I am happy that she did that for you. Because it, like you said, it kind of led you into the space that's cultivated your expertise in your life right now based off what you shared with us. And so I want you to tell us, what would your definition of mental health be?
Oh, definition of mental health. Oh, that's a tough one. So I think, oh, that's a very tough one. Mental health for me. Oh yeah, mental health for me personally is just how I'm feeling, you know, like if my mood is just, you know, rich, warming, or it's just perpetually just down, that's, you know, mental health. And I'm a fun guy, but I go up and down sometimes. You know, that is a very tough one.
I have plenty of those tough questions. That's what the sentiment tends to be from everyone. You know, I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. I think I asked that question for the very response that you had to make you think, right? Because when we don't give ourselves the space to think, when things happen, then it's a lot more difficult for us to, you know, find a way out, right? So I wonder, is me asking that question, you know how you feel when you don't feel mentally well, right? So I don't even think that there has to be just a concrete definition. That's one of the things as clinicians that we do. If you can't name, like put a name on the emotion, how are you experiencing it? Where do you feel it in your body? What does it look like behavior-wise, right? How are you relating to others? That can determine, I think in a more realistic sense, are you feeling mentally well? Yeah, I went outside today. I went and did some,
Okay, I
exercise, hung
see.
out with my friends. But when I'm not feeling mentally well, what does that look like? Like, describe the details of feeling down or really overwhelmed, and being able to decipher the two is just as good as being able to pinpoint what that is. And I think now you've been able to kind of like, and that's the good part. The is kind of like the first step to like digging up, what does that look like? What does that look like for me? And what do I notice in my functioning, on a daily basis that lets me know, am I feeling well today or am I not? So that's kind of the function of those particular questions. But I want to know, so now that you've been abroad, not even now that you've been abroad for a while, which was the country that you found yourself really having to, or did you ever feel like you had to be a bit more self-protected, as a Black man working in the field that you're working
in? Well, you probably know China. Yeah.
China be on it.
Yeah, I've been to like other countries, like in Europe and stuff like that. And like when I was in the UK, I felt like I had to be a little guarded and stuff. But once I got used to it, because I was there for like a month, okay, it got better, plus they could speak the same language. But over here in China, I got to be guarded. Everyone will smile at you, but you don't know what that smile means and stuff.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago, after work, I just went into a convenience store, had my headphones in, and I heard these kids just shout, "Why bro in?" which means foreigner. And he looked at me straight in the eye, and the kid just called me the N-word. So, having a good day. Yep.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
I didn't take it personally. But, some people, who I tell this story to, they'll be like, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's saying." Nah, he knows.
Yes, he does.
The body language, the context that he used it, staring straight at me. I'm like, yeah. But even like walking around, people that I go to restaurants and sometimes they smile, but then they just give off that energy of like, I'm not really welcome. Like it's like I tolerate you, but I don't like you.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
that's it. Yeah.
And so I'm guarded when I walk around, when I walk the streets. Now there's a bunch of locals here that I love, and they love me. But whenever I'm in a new place, I'm always, on my toes. I'm always trying to be nice, be respectful and stuff. Try not to take anything personally. So
yeah,
it can be tough here, and especially like I said before, I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere.
right. It's not a hopping scene to get out and do all kinds of different things. So, with that, can you share with us, when you find yourself in these new spaces, right, as you transition from place to place with your work, what are some of the immediate things that you do to kind of build a sense of safety and community?
I would, when I first land, first off, I would just walk around where I live, like walk around, like walk the block. When I was on tour, we're in a new city every week. Sometimes you're in a bad city. Sometimes you're in a sketchy city. Now, the difference between those two is a bad city is probably like, like in the hood or something like that. A sketchy city is when I start seeing Confederate flags. So I always try to tell people that there's two. Those are completely different.
Yeah.
But I would walk around. I would try to find the nearest shop. like grocery store or just like a 7-Eleven, go in and try to speak the language to the owner of it. That way I'm a new face. They're like, oh, he's trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I just try to find places that I will eventually need, like a grocery store or like a barber shop.
Okay.
I would just go in, have my phone out, trying to say all these phrases and stuff. My Chinese has gotten way better.
Okay.
for the first time. But when I first came to China, I was with my friend Ron, another Black guy,
Mm-hmm.
super, super talented. And he basically told me, don't stay in your room when you first get here. Get out and just walk around. Because when you first get to these new countries, it feels like you're on an alien planet.
Mm.
It's like it's gravity the same, like, oh man, they're speaking that language. Ooh. It's all overwhelming, but
Yeah.
he told me just to get out, walk around, look at people and say, ni hao.
Yeah.
The more you start doing that, the more you're like, okay, I'm still on planet Earth. It's just another side of what, you're used to.
Right. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like his suggestion to me sounds as if he's giving you advice on how to ground yourself in the new environment, right? And so when it can feel overwhelming. Everything is new, things are different. I don't know the language, I don't know the people, what do I expect? So all these scenarios swirling in your head, rightfully so, because it's a new space, but then showing yourself, being able to get out and get familiar. What you're describing to me, the way you described it, feels like it's a grounding exercise and experience to familiarize yourself, to kind of debunk the falsities that our anxious brain can tell us when we're in these new environments. We don't know the people or the landscape of the environment that you'll be in. So that's the sense that I get as you're describing it, that you are trying to familiarize yourself, build some security, be seen so that it's not so foreign whenever you do go out and things like that. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And again, you're getting out to move, you're exercising, all that pent up nervous energy that is bound to be present when you enter into a new space.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I want to know, you're doing some exciting work. And I love to see, Black people that are doing great things, expanding their horizons, excelling in their chosen professions. I am curious about, what do you think has been one of your most impactful experiences as you've traveled the world as an expat?
I would say it was the first time I went to, Indonesia, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's very impactful. When I first arrived, I was with a new company and I wasn't welcomed by the company. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of drama stuff that I just fell into, and I was a target. But but I was pretty sad and stuff like that. But I knew for a fact it was just because of drama. It wasn't because of my skill. I was not trying to be that guy, but I was the best.
There's no sense in if it's the truth, it's the truth, right? Listen, we don't humble brag, we just tell the truth over here.
And it wasn't just because I was physical. It was because I literally just went out my way to help people. Also, try to get to know everyone there. Even if they didn't like me, that's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, although they didn't even try a sip. So that's on them. But it was a defining moment because no other contract was ever that mentally taxing. Now, it was only difficult for about the first month, you know, and I just, you know, it took me a while, but basically, I said, you may think of me whatever you want. I'm here to do a job, and no matter what, all my cast members love me, the locals love me. But for that, just, you know, going side thing, my roommate got injured, very, very, and I just met the guy, but I was one of the main ones who visit him in the hospital every day. And of course, I didn't know the guy like that. I only knew him for about 4 days, but the guy who ran the show, who kind of gave me a hard time, would always say, thank you for taking out your time, taking care of your roommate, you know, that's really, really cool. You know, it's a breath of fresh air. And I said, I'm not doing it for you. You don't like me, keep that same energy. I am doing that because that's what I want someone else to do for me. The guy's here alone, in a foreign land, in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I told the guy that if I was the guy in that bed, you would leave me here to rot. And the guy was like, oh no, I wouldn't. I said, yes, you would. So I don't need you. I don't need your thanks, your gratitudes. I'm doing it because I'm a good person.
Listen, say that again.
Yeah, I'm the good person. This is me.
Right.
And you know, afterwards, after saying that to him, because I was like bottling up some things, it all just released. I was happy. I'm running around and stuff. I'm still getting yelled at. Right, doing this. Yeah, but I was just having fun, man. With all the locals, I brought all the locals to go see the injured guy. We all got cheeseburgers, watched movies and stuff. So after that, I'm like, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
Or people, you know, perceive me as, because,
Right.
you know, like I said, I'm not everyone's cup of tea,
Right.
but they didn't even give me a sip.
Right.
You know, try to get to know.
I really get the sense that as you did that, as Black people, even in the US, but especially, you know, abroad, working with people that are not cultured the way that we are, right? That aren't taught do unto others as the golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. I get the sense as you sharing that you had all these feelings and things pent up and bottled up, which makes sense, right? Because it's a lot. It's a lot to feel a lack of psychological safety at work, and then you're abroad, and who do I share, and who's a safe outlet? But being there for this person says everything about the character that you have, and it heaps coals on their head, because you were right. You probably wouldn't do this for me if the tables were turned, but this shows you just the type of individual that I am. And I get the sense that you just unlocked a level of acceptance for yourself by doing that. Because then it's just like, all right, I'm reminding myself, there is nothing that you all can do that's going to stop you from acting out of character, not being yourself, not showing up and getting the fullness of your experience.
Yeah, I mean, afterwards, you know, the guy was just trying to be my friend now. He was like, you know, started lightening up on me and stuff like that. And you know, it's cool, you know, you're not forgiven. But you know, okay, we'll start doing the cordial dance now.
Right.
But you know what? You know, like that's what my mom and my dad taught me, you know. You can forgive somebody, but don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
That's a really important thing that I want to kind of expound upon, especially when it comes to mental health. Holding grudges and continuing to ruminate on difficult situations, feeling slighted, and a lot of times rightfully so, right? As you know, as Black people, feeling maligned or excluded on purpose, which we experience a lot. Holding on to that is akin to you drinking poison and expecting the other person to keel over and die. It is a slow death on the inside. And I'm never one to be like, oh, you need to forgive this person that has wronged you or put you in a traumatic situation or done something to harm you, right? But when it comes to forgiveness, one thing I want people to understand is forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is an internal thing. It allows you to kind of let go, not kind of, to release like that hurt and that pain. Because the more you hold on to it, the longer it takes for you to heal from whatever the situation is. But to forgive is an exercise in internal growth. But forgiveness does not mean that you have to allow an individual back into your life, right? You can love that person or not from afar, but you are no longer holding on to the stuff that keeps you stuck, the stuff that keeps you depressed and anxious and angry. You've allowed yourself, you've given yourself the space to let it go and move on with your life, you know, and still wave to that person from afar because you're in a better space. You've given yourself permission to release that chokehold, that whatever the pain is, whatever that, you know, frustration was, whatever that hurt is that you experienced, you don't own it anymore.
And you know what? That's kind of that's even worse for the other person because they were like, you see me, you know, having fun with everybody else, you know, helping, giving knowledge and all that stuff. But when they come over, oh no, you get the just strict professional Stephon. You
Pretty
know, it's
much.
like everyone else gets like, hey, what up, my dude?
Yeah.
He gets, hey, how are you? And keep it moving.
Exactly. My mama calls it nice, nasty. Be cordial, because you know we can't step outside of professionalism, no matter how much we want to, because we're just looked at differently, and it's unfortunate and it's unfair, but it's the reality, right? We kind of gotta represent for the whole Black culture.
And
some of these.
that's me. That's one of my biggest things. And when I go to these countries, and what any other Black folks go to these countries that I know, and I said, do not bring your Black behind here and be mediocre. Don't be garbage.
Oh my God.
Because I've worked in places where I'm the only Black person, and if I'm garbage, they probably won't hire someone like me again.
Right.
And it can be a real thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, people don't get it here, you know, like some of my foreign cast members don't really understand that, but I was representing everyone. I'm representing Black people.
You are.
Black Americans.
Can you tell us, how do you deal with the stress of that? Because I know it's stressful. How have you dealt with like the weight of, like you said, Black America and all other potential professionals on your shoulders?
Oh, it gets tough, but you know, I'm not competitive. I have a lot of motivation from other performers. And I'm like, I need to be at your level. I know for a fact that this level will always get me hired. This level will make me be seen from other people from afar. And that's what I was trying to tell like Black people here. Like, I was in a show and there was a bunch of Black folks and they're great, but one of them was just, you know, half-stepping, just not doing his best, not being his best. And I kept telling him, you keep messing up, you're going to kill the job for all Black people. Because this job, we wear a mask, but they prefer it to be a person of color. But But you get this one black dude, other black people just start, being garbage. You know what? Maybe we don't need a black person underneath it. Now we're losing these jobs. I know some people think like that's a crazy way to think about it, but like in China, for like stunts, like live stunt shows, I've only seen like 3 black stunt performers, myself included, in the past 10 years.
What?
Yeah, I've only seen 3. Well, wow. 4, maybe 4.
Less than a handful.
Less than a handful, and I'm like, yo, there has to be a reason.
Yeah.
But also, I can't be mediocre. I can never take a show off. I can't just, I can never like half step. Never. I have never done it, and I have never ever will.
I hear that. Right, and I think that just the way that we're, raised, right, and considering like the professions that we go into, that's kind of a part if we're trying to excel to these higher, rungs of the ladder, which I know that you are trying to continue to move up. That is a lot of pressure. I want you to share with me what does the mindset that you have to be like in order to kind of, I don't even know if compartmentalize is the right word, but to be accepting of the reality, yet still give yourself space to kind of work through the overwhelming feelings that brings about?
I know for like, first off, I have a standard.
Okay.
And my standards is very, very high, but I'm always working at that standard. So now it's basically my 50%, it gets stressful to the point where I'm just like, Jesus, this is too much. Why am I giving myself this? But the longer I do it, trying to strive to get better, it starts to get easier and easier. It's stressful, but it is kind of fun. It is fun to be like, oh, I'm getting better. Oh, look at me. Everyone's just, I don't like a lot of attention when I perform and stuff.
Wait a minute. The stunt performer doesn't like attention.
I don't like I don't need people to be like, oh my God, Stephon, you're like,
okay.
Oh my God, you're so good. I'm like, thank you. Like I'm never that person.
Okay.
Like after every show, we get notes. Like, hey, you did this, you did that. Hey, if I ain't got no notes, leave me alone. I don't need no. I don't need no. Stephon, that was so good. You're good. Hey, this is my job.
Yeah.
Unless I have had to carry people off the stage in character, put them away, and do their role. But you could say something about that. But other than that, nah, man. I'm always trying to get better for myself. Career, my mindset is for myself, not for the praises. Which is kind of weird because a lot of actors, we act for. I act for praise of the audience, not for my fellow cast members and employees.
Well, that makes sense. That's a distinction, right? You're there to entertain other people, not to, I would imagine, be someone other than you're not.
Yes.
Does that make? I'm wondering, did I state that like in a way that made sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, not to like confuse the the two.
Oh, that's very true. Like some people, like when it comes to like notes, they act, differently. Like, like, oh, I need these notes. I need it. But then, we're done with work and stuff like that. A totally different person. Oh, nah. When I'm at work, if I don't have notes, leave me alone. If I'm off of work, Don't bring up the show, you know, I'm off at work. You ain't gotta say you did this good. I like the way you do this. Okay, it's fine. I love what I do. I don't do it for, you know, the praise of everyone else that I work with.
Right. Let me ask you, what's been like the biggest growth opportunity for yourself personally, like your personal growth that you've been able to experience as a Black expat at your professional level?
Biggest growth? I would say teaching people. Because, you know, I could teach, you know, a bunch of things, you know, it's like, but I like, when I was in Beijing, I was teaching my Chinese cast members, like my form of stunt work, my form of performing, of acting, you know, how to improv the scene, you know, how to just, you know, how to be moving, but keeping your head on the swivel, how to spot different things. And it was a big growth moment because they're like, Jesus, that is a totally another level that people think that it's unattainable. It's like, so we were doing a drill where I said, okay, you're gonna do this, do some swords, drop it, do some tumbling pass. But then I said, there's gonna be some things strewn around. And it's basically a visual thing, you know. Did you spot this? Did you spot that? And so I did it, and I spotted everything that people put. And they're like, Jesus. Like, it was a really cool moment because you know, they look at me as a Black guy, like there's no way that someone like me could be at that level.
Yeah.
But another growth thing is
the ignorance makes me angry.
Yeah, but their ignorance disappeared because I started showing them, you know, like, hey, there are some Black stunt performers that are that have worked in China. And I said, yeah, they are amazing. And I showed them, and they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah. So don't look at Black people like, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that.
Yeah.
Look at them, be like, oh, he's here for some reason.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, and I fully understand and I accept that, right? I just wonder, will there ever be a point where we don't have to be excelling or giving something to you just to receive the common level of humanity that everybody else receives? Like, can we just show up and you not be siphoning something from us in order for us to be humanized in your eyes?
I say, yeah, it will. It's going to take a very long time. You got to take people to just open up and stuff and just be willing to see and listen to us.
Yeah.
You know, like you try to speak Chinese to people and you're saying it perfectly and they're just like, huh? It's like, come on now, you know, stop being that way and just open it up. Especially for like TV. If TV just changed, you know, just see us in a better light. You know, I got a couple of my friends who lived in China. They're now working in Canada and stuff. They were here when Black Panther opened up.
I'm sure that was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting to the point where they were like, I don't know if I want to see this because you know, it's Black people in it. But when they saw it,
blown away.
I'm seeing on Instagram Chinese people being like, and not in a mocking way, just like, I like this.
Wow.
And it's like,
as you see my Black Panther Pandora charm.
Yeah. You know, it's also like I've shown some of my Chinese cast members like Broadway shows. Hamilton. You know, they've never like seen us be amazing like on television, and that's what we need. More of that
representation.
Yeah, of course they're always saying like we're always the bad guys or stuff like that. I mean, what movies are you guys looking at? You know?
Right. Or what's allowed? What's allowed for you to see?
Yeah.
Because I think, right, there is some sort of documentary out, I think, created by the BBC. It's something about Chinese perceptions of Black people, of the diaspora, Africans. I cannot remember. I said I was going to look for it, but it is very eye-opening. And I refuse to watch it because I already know what it's going to be about. Like, I don't need another, institution that's rooted in a lack of appreciation for Black people of the diaspora to tell me my own lived experience.
Yes. And you know what? I've also had a conversation with in Beijing, a couple of Chinese dancers, and they're all hip hop specialists. And one of them didn't really like Black folks. And I said, why? He's like, I don't know, it's just I've never met any. And I said, you met me.
Right.
But then I'm just now not attacking him, but breaking him down. Like, you're doing hip hop dancing. You like rap music. That all comes from us. The stuff that you're wearing, it all comes from us. His hair, he's trying to get dreadlocks.
Like the nappy, like they go through a whole process to get their hair to be textured.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, like, so you don't like, it's not that he doesn't like Black people, he just doesn't know any Black people. So that's also got to tell people, stop saying you dislike someone. Just say, I don't know any Black people.
Yeah.
So I can't say nothing about it, but don't say you dislike it if you don't know them.
Well, what? They might be telling the truth because the narratives that are shared with them might breed a sense of dislike and mistrust because they've not had any genuine interaction with Black people like us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard.
It's hard.
Because my thought is just, I'm of two minds. I don't want to have to be your magical Negro for you to see that we are great people. But then on the other hand, it's like, if you don't see us in our fullness, then you'll never learn. So it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. What role do I want to play in shifting people's attitudes and perceptions of Black people like us, of the diaspora? And I can never seem to answer that question.
It gets tiring. Yes. Like the guy I was talking about, I just said, look into yourself, go talk to some people. And that was about a year ago. And now he's in Beijing, dancing with a Black American African, hip hop dancing squad. And I'm like, see? And I wasn't trying to be that, I'm going to teach you something. I'm just like, bro, look at yourself. You're contradicting yourself. Just go out and say what's up to someone.
Yeah.
And boom. I'm pretty sure he probably got a Black girlfriend by now. But
Good. I love it.
I'm like, come on now, yo. We're human, You can think however you want, but you gotta, look into yourself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I was a Black talking to you, and he likes me. So you don't like Black. So what you're saying is I don't like Black people is false.
True. They don't have a robust understanding. I mean, and sometimes in most cases, the same can be said for us, because within cultures, you have so many differences, than you would have between cultures. So I don't know. I think it's just such a learning experience, but I am really glad that as more Black people learn about the benefits of living abroad, that we expand our horizons, we grow as people, we shift the narrative, not only for our folks back home, but for the communities that we, I won't say infiltrate, that we choose to, become parts of, right, inadvertently. I wonder, when you think about, because we're nearing, the end of our conversation, which I'm really enjoying, as I knew I would. When you think about the advancement of mental health for yourself, other Black men, Black people that choose to live abroad, what would be some of the things that you would want to see improve for us as a community when it comes to the advancement of our mental health collectively?
Yeah. So, of course, one of the advancements is talking about it. We're finally talking about it. We're not just bottling it up. I want people to just try to seek help if they can find it. I know it's difficult in some countries living abroad.
Yeah.
And stuff, but don't feel ashamed and stuff, because you're living abroad. You don't have a lot of places to go to, like back when I'm back in America.
Right.
If I'm feeling down mentally, unwell, I can go to multiple places. Here, so if you're feeling mentally unwell, just try to do something early. Don't wait.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't wait. Sure. Like, it's like I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's like an injury. I've been injured in China a couple of times, and as soon as I'm injured, I go right to the hospital. I cannot wait.
Right. It's like if we have a tooth that hurts, we are not about to sit in pain for weeks and weeks, dealing with it, right? It shouldn't have to, like you're saying, you shouldn't have to suffer. Don't put yourself into a position where you're choosing to suffer through because of all of the things that get in the way, the barriers, the stigmas, your own self-stigma. Creating a network of support is really important. So, I'm curious, if you were to speak for your grandmother right now, when it comes to talking to other men about taking care of your mental health, what do you think that she would say? Come on, Granny.
My grandmother would say, this is not a movie. You're not going to just, get better by just, going for a walk or just getting inspiration. You got to be able to just go out and get help. You need a good community. You need people. My grandmother doesn't like computers, but she has heard that you can talk to like a therapist online through Zoom and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So absolutely anything helps. Just don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like it's a bad thing. Get help. Get help. And then, get back into the grind, get back into, being you, having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Well, you said something about community, and that was a question that I don't think I asked earlier. How would you rate the importance? Like, what rating of importance? Let's just say it's on a scale of 0 to 10. 0, not that important, 10, extremely important. What level of importance would you give creating a supportive community and support system to you being able to continue to do the work at the level that you're doing it?
I'll say it's very, very important. It's a 10.
Okay.
It's a 10 because like in stunt work, I can't get good by myself. When I'm doing like a movie or something or a live show, I'm not by myself. It's not the Stephon show.
Right.
I'm with a bunch of other people, and we all have to work together, be of like mind. And if it wasn't for people like in martial arts, everyone's trying to get better. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be better. You know, we got to challenge ourselves. Sometimes we have like rivals, like a rivalry, friendly one. But that's what you need. But you need a community to talk, people just to talk to relax with. Here's the thing, that the first time I went to China was in Dalian. And it was just like two black dudes, two black guys, me and my friend Ron in the show, which is great. But I would go to another city, Kaifuchu, to a foreigner bar, and I would sometimes see some other black folks, and it's great. But that's, very far in between.
Yeah.
In Beijing, wow, an actual black community.
Right, which is very small.
Yeah. Well, for me, like when I first met you, we was like around a bunch of black folks, and I was just like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
I because I was, in China, I'm in China for a while, and I didn't know I needed that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed people who look like me, who have the same mindset as me. That's literally helped my my mental health.
Yeah. Just being able to be easy with, even if we come from different countries or different states, there's a collective understanding that we all have as Black expats living in China, that we just get it, right?
Yes, because I was living in a dorm filled with people from, from America and other countries, but no one grew up how I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say these people are bad, but I kind of have to be a different person around them. I always gotta watch it, because I could say one wrong thing and they're just like, oh my God, he said this.
Yeah.
But I know
ability.
I was in Beijing, and I saw a guy who was wearing a Ravens jersey, just walking down the road. And of course, I'm a Ravens fan, so I just shouted, Ravens! And he shouted back. It was just that small interaction.
It is the connection.
I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I made his day. He made my day. And I felt lighter afterwards.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Go ahead. Finish what you said.
When I feel mentally down, I feel heavy.
Yeah.
Because I can still move and stuff like that, but it just feels like I got weights on my legs sometimes, And after I had a conversation like that, Ravens with that dude, I just felt like the weight was off.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what you're sharing with me is something that people, myself included, at certain times, is what we run from. We run from experiencing the heaviness, the overwhelm of some of our undesired emotions. And what I want everyone listening to understand, especially if you are abroad, it is through those emotions that you will be able to find like your strength. It is being able to sit with them, allow them, accept them, because they will pass. It's like a wave. That wave, as it peaks, it intensifies, it gets stronger, but it peaks. And that's it. And it will die off every time. Emotions are not meant to stay. They dissipate, right? And so when we learn how to acknowledge, recognize and accept how we feel and kind of investigate, like, what's happening, what do I need, in a compassionate manner, and give yourself those things, then as the overwhelm comes again, because it will, you will be that much stronger to, experience and deal with and be true to yourself as you go through these difficult times. And one of the themes that I've really heard throughout our conversation is channeling that energy, whatever that energy is, into something productive. allowing it to help you to excel, to grow, to learn, to improve, so that you are bettering yourself even through these difficult circumstances. I think that's a lesson.
Yeah. I learned from very early that I can channel all of my anger, all my happiness, my sadness, my anxiety. And I could just put it, I could just aim it.
Yeah. Ooh,
so
yeah.
It's like that's why people say I'm a good performer, because when I was performing back in the States, a live show, sometimes I am just angry. Something happened, I'm angry, but I end up doing one of my best shows. I tend to do my shows a really, really good show when I'm, very, very angry or very, very sad, very happy, just all that energy. I just use it in a good way. Doesn't matter how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took a while to get to that point.
Right. Those things don't happen overnight, right? Because if we spend so much time in denial, and I can say this for sure, when I work with men or I listen to my male friends, and I'm recognizing what they're describing, I'm like, so you're depressed, right? Or you're anxious. It can't come out like that, because then it's like, oop, wall. No, I'm not. I'm fine. Yep. I'm good. So it's really recognizing, like we said, like you shared before earlier in the conversation, if you can't put a name on it or you're not there yet, what does it look like behaviorally when you know that you're feeling well or not? And how do you utilize that to help you get over the hump and move through whatever it is that you're experiencing? So I don't know. I think that you've given a lot of good gems for our men out there. I definitely want to interview more men. Y'all just have a different insight, right? And just from early on, listening to the trajectory of your life and your experience, and really identifying what you're passionate about and not being afraid to pursue that, is something that I'm quite happy that you've been able to share with us today. So let me ask you, if you were to, you said you're moving more into coaching. I know before you said, creation of your own things. If you were to provide advice and counsel to other families of young boys that are kind of needing some direction, right?
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give them when it comes to maybe martial arts, kung fu? What would you share with them to kind of help steer their sons in a direction that'll be a bit more beneficial for them?
I would say, for the martial arts, find a school. There are different types of schools. There's so many, but you got to go in and just watch and see if the coach is really, really for the kids, or they're just trying to get money. My first coach was his name was Calvin Bascom. He died.
Okay.
He was one of the first. There's like three. One of the first black person to master this kung fu style. So he was great, but I went in there and we didn't have a lot of money. It was me and my brother, also my sister. She was like older than us, but he said, it's fine, you can't pay. I'll give you 50% off, but you cannot have no F's, no D's or C's on your report cards.
Listen, this contract, you gonna get it together.
Yeah. And he was really big on the education, but also he was very, very physical. Like, he worked us hard, like all the time. But then he started nurturing me and my brother into, coaching, teaching. And it's like, it's like, well, I'm giving you guys a discount, so you guys are going to learn to be, mentors and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the type of martial arts school you want to try to find, ones with great community and stuff like that. But they also know, like, this is important. Education is important. Physical fitness is important. Mental health, making friends, being friendly competitions and stuff. But also giving them the courage to go out of their, comfort zones, like to a tournament, to like be around whole new people, but be able to talk to them. That's a martial arts school that would benefit them the most.
Okay. I like that. I'm definitely gonna make sure I pull out that clip and share it. So as we, wind to a close, I would like you to share with us, what are you most proud of about yourself, after making your decision to move abroad?
I'm proud that I've made it here, and I am actually having a good time. Because, I always felt like I wasn't going to have a good time here and stuff. I can just, I could be kind of a workaholic, So no matter where I go, I can just throw myself into my work. But I'm proud that I am just going out, trying to find new experiences, talking to new people, learning Chinese. I'm getting better.
Ooh, it's hard.
Oh my God.
It's
Even
hard.
harder here because people don't want to talk to you.
Right. I'd be like, ting dong. Well, I said that was the last question. Well, I don't know if I said that, but this is my question. Well, maybe. How would you like to continue to positively impact your community?
Oh, I would love to. Whenever I'm home in America, I'm always trying to help people.
Yeah.
I used to coach gymnastics and cheerleading. So, if I'm not doing nothing, they're like, hey, we need some coaches. I'll go in there having fun, teaching classes, but I'm not just teaching them how to do flips. You're going to learn something about life.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to be a team. I'm really big on, helping out the community.
Yeah.
Like, I have all my friends, they do other martial arts schools. So I do seminars there. So I'm always trying to do something for the community.
I really appreciate that. Helping people to be better through community, through activity, finding themselves, supporting one another. What else can we ask for? I think if we have more of that for ourselves, collectively, we'll begin to experience better outcomes. And I'll tell you this, you are the first guest that I've had when I asked the question about, family history of discussing mental health. You are literally the first guest that has shared, yeah, I've had people to have this discussion with me younger, not even myself. So that lets me know that we're going to have more people that have that experience early on, with being able to share how they feel, creating safe spaces, understanding what mental health is. So thank you so much. We're not quite done. I want to ask a few more questions for the rapid round. And I'll start with, so when you're back home, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Oh my God, Five Guys, burgers and fries.
Really? I thought you would say crab cakes.
Well, because I'm from DC, from Maryland.
Stereotype.
Yep.
That's a good one though. Okay. What book are you reading right now?
I'm reading what is that book? That's kind of dang.
It'll come.
I'm reading it's called I'm reading one of the Mass Effect. It's based off a video game, Mass Effect.
Okay.
And it's like a sad story, basically what happened before the game. So I'm reading that.
Okay.
I'm also reading like 2 other books,
Uh-huh.
but I don't remember.
So these questions are meant to put you on the spot. So if you could move back to another country, which country would that be?
Indonesia.
Yeah, me too. Bali, all
Mm,
day, every day. All day, every day.
mm.
Listen, love
Or,
it.
or Thailand.
Okay, so where in Thailand?
Probably like Phuket.
Okay, I was in Phuket. Phuket was amazing.
Yeah, I like Bangkok, but it's kind of hectic. Yeah, something slow.
Yeah, if I'm going, I have some friends that are leaving China that are going to Bangkok because this is the transition period of the year. But yeah, I've always wanted to be somewhere a little more chill, you know. Well, one last question. What is a favorite quote or saying that you kind of go back to whenever you kind of need that re-energizing surge of assurance?
It's be humble yet not weak, proud yet not boastful. Yeah.
That's a Baptist shake, like,
Mhm.
like I love
That,
it.
that quote is from my first martial arts coach, Calvin Bascom.
Oh,
He
awesome. I love
he
it.
was
Listen, I said whenever I do have children, I would love healthy kids, but definitely sons. They're gonna be in all kind of martial arts because I know the benefit, helping you feel centered, more emotion regulation, having a sense of self-worth. So I'm so glad that you're literally our action hero. And I'm glad to call you friend. I really appreciate it. So can you share with us how we can stay in touch with you on social media?
Oh yeah, most good. You can follow me on Instagram at SL Reynolds 103. That's SLREYNOLDS 103.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have your information in our show notes. So, people watch us on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. Just opened up an Instagram for the Black Expat Experience, brand new. So watch us there. And just to close out the show, I want to thank everyone, Stephon, you especially. Thank you all for tuning into the Black Expat Experience for another episode. As always, I encourage you to keep taking risks, keep impacting your communities, and most of all, keep prioritizing your mental health. Again, this is the month of June, Men's Health Month, and I want you to know that as men, your physical health and your emotional health are of equitable importance. So please do what you can to take care of yourself in both regards. And please share this episode in your communities and be on the lookout for more coming soon. I hope that you all have an amazing day. And I want to say thank you again, Stephon, and peace, everyone.
Peace.